Chelsea is a very small community. We're 6 miles north of Boston. And it's actually the third densest city in the state of Massachusetts. We've been known to be a community that is welcoming to all immigrants. I remember I was barely 23 when I would come and sit here and watch the leaders who were elected to represent and make decisions on behalf of this community. They did not look like me or my mother or my neighbors or my family. And it was at that moment that I made the decision to run for office. We just took a vote in a very positive direction, which is to help many homeowners deal with reparations to their structures. But reality is that this pandemic has left a long-lasting impact in our community. And we know that it's added more to the housing crisis. And unfortunately, as an MIT study, and a study that was actually developed by MIT and Vida Urbana City Life, 1 in every 3 renter households in Massachusetts is at risk of eviction during this pandemic. And considering that the moratorium expired on October 18, I know that the impact in communities like Chelsea that are predominantly Hispanic, that are predominantly Black, are going to be impacted at the highest levels. The conversations regarding the impact that this pandemic could have on the city started very early on. It wasn't a matter of if, it was a matter of when it arrives. Are we going to be ready? We wouldn't have been able to respond the way we did if we did not partner up with faith organizations that became strong allies in our response efforts.
¿Sabes quién es Marisela? La cantante, la dama de hierro. Noche cuando yo la vi. Fui a un concierto de ella, está espectacular.
Esa mujer en los conciertos tremendos.
Sí, y te canta sin parar, con tequila también. Ahí dar este barril. Yep. Entonces lo bajo.
Espérate.
There we go. Ready? Good work.
Many of the families that come here and make Chelsea their home, they go to church, and one of the key things that the church tells you is to be un buen hermano, to be a good brother, and to help those around you.
9, 10.
And as much as people in my generation try to not associate with the church, those values continue to be ingrained in me. We are a community that's predominantly composed of Latinos who are essential workers. Latinos who do not have the luxury to be able to stay home and quarantine and take all the precautionary measures to not expose their loved ones. when we talk about immigrants that decide to make communities like Chelsea their home, there's 3 places that they look for as safe havens. They look for schools, they look for medical centers, and they look for a church. My mother arrived here back in the late 80s, and the few Latinos that were here were mostly Puerto Rican, and she claims that everyone else in the community was white. So it was very difficult to get by and to make it her home.
Vine aquí a Estados Unidos a explorar para un futuro. Y me gustó Chelsea y me quedé en Chelsea.
My mother arrived here with absolutely nothing. She tells me that her first bedroom was actually a floor.
Chelsea era muy peligroso en ese tiempo. Andábamos todo mundo con cautela. Yo siempre estuve de mi trabajo a mi casa cuando tuve a mi niña. La protegía más, no la dejaba salir porque Chelsea era muy violento.
My mother was very religious at the beginning, but it was at that intersection where she became a single mother, and the traditions of the Latino Catholic Church almost ousted her.
Cuando es madre soltera, muchas personas lo juzgan, pero uno no le va a echar culpa a la iglesia. La iglesia es la iglesia, quien lo culpa a uno, lo juzga a uno son las personas. Y uno escoge, aquella persona me juzgó, aquella no, aquella es buena, aquella sí, aquella es mala, no. Entonces uno dice, me separo de allí y ya, no quiero que me juzguen ni juzgar a nadie.
I like to say that I'm culturally Catholic because even though I don't go to church every single Sunday, I wear a cross. And I'm a woman who not only am I a leader in politics, but I believe in pro-choice. I believe in things that really go against the attitudes of the church. I go to church in hiding. I am the person who sits all the way in the back because I am there to just be fully present and not to be criticized for what I believe in. I try to seek God in my own ways that are not necessarily defined by the traditional outlook and way of life of the Catholic Church. I remember clearly one day going to my local church here in Chelsea, the Catholic Church, and the priest making a comment of how mothers should not go against their husbands when educating their children. And I remember I was so bothered by what he was saying that I literally got up and I left.
I'm a Libra. I know you don't believe in zodiac signs, but
Yeah, I'm a Libra too.
Oh, really?
September 22nd.
Oh, well, look at that.
Jennifer's very special to me because we're very different. The most polar opposites that you could ever think of.
I know that from the 11 people in council, 5 of the men don't like me, and I had this opportunity to prove that not only am I qualified, capable, but I can actually beat someone who's been there longer. So for me, it's almost trying to feed that need of saying, "Oops, I checked the box."
But that's why you feel empty at the end.
Yeah.
And that's because you are putting your faith in something that is not long lasting.
But I feel like I can push an agenda that's going to be helpful to the Latino community. And that's where I feel that I'm conflicted, because the way I know I want to do good, but the way I'm getting there to do good is I'm doing things that go against my values.
Playing on the political arena can get pretty dirty, and it can really push you to make decisions that are not always the best. And religion is that one thing that keeps me grounded and allows me to understand right from wrong.
Your identity is not your career. At least
so
that's for me. That's true for me.
Yeah.
That's not my identity. My identity is solely found in Christ.
When I started this journey as an elected official, and I came in here thinking at 23 that I was going to change the world, and I quickly realized that wasn't going to happen. And I almost had created this checklist of a life that I wanted to live and what would fulfill me and what would make me happy. And that checklist was constantly achieving, being more ambitious, achieving, being more ambitious, achieving, being more ambitious. And that became pretty draining and pretty lonely very quickly. And it wasn't until I realized that I need to find something bigger to fulfill my soul that I was going to be happy. What really stops me from embracing the Catholic Church is the attitude of the church. I don't really feel welcomed in that space. Even though I don't feel welcomed, here I am trying to desperately find God, and especially in moments like these during this pandemic. Jennifer and I had a session. We were reading a verse of the Bible. It talks about how when you're in the beginning stages of finding God, you're just a child, and that's how I feel right now.
Hi, Pastor Layton.
How are you?
Good.
Good.
Judith Garcia.
Oh, that's right. I didn't recognize you with your mask. All right?
Yeah, doing great.
Hey guys, Pastor Clark here again. If If today is your first time with us, either in person or online, we would love to hear from you. You can introduce yourself by texting Calvary CC to 97000 and then follow the prompts. Once again, we're so happy that you chose to be here with us today, and we look forward to meeting with you.
When I have those moments with God, I feel lighter. And that's powerful.
Ella pues dio un cambio radical, porque primero iba a ir a Boston, a ella le gusta una iglesia de Boston católica, iba allá, pues yo decía, ay, ora por mí, que de repente voy a ir yo también, pero de presto me decía, mami, voy para la iglesia. ¿Y a dónde? ¿A qué iglesia? Ay, me dijo, pues ni sé qué iglesia es. Pero ¿y por qué ese cambio? Le digo. Entonces, no, mami, que mira, bueno, eso es tu decisión. Yo siempre soy católica y nunca voy a dejar de ser católica. Hay muchas religiones, pero yo no las critico tampoco. Cada quien lleva su vida como puede.
I will never forget my first prayer, and I will never forget the first time I had to confess after my communion, and how beautiful and how proud my mom felt. I think there's just so many beautiful memories. The Catholic Church will always be dear and near to my heart.
That is a good question. Where do I see God? In Chelsea. That's a good question. I don't know. I see God each time this city is able to bounce back. I think Chelsea has lived impossible odds.
Country's worst urban conflagration in 40 years.
From the very first fire in this city back in the 1800s to our second fire in 1972, where it was expected that this city would never rebuild itself.
Like an enraged demon, the fire swept away 18 city blocks.
I think that's where I see God's magic. Now, as we sit here and we chat, there's a pandemic, and the rates were going up and up and up, and we were the worst state, the hottest spot in the state, but we bounced back. And that's just one example, but there were multiple examples in between where this city has always bounced back. There was a dark era in our city where we were plagued by gangs and people could not leave their homes because there was gangs outside shooting. But we bounced back, and I don't think we did that alone. I think we did that by God's grace, and that's where I see God.